loves, so welcome back to Favorite Friday. For the last case for this week, we are going back to Florida. Specifically, we are going to Jacksonville Beach, Florida. This case did get some coverage considering somewhat of a high profile that our victim had. So if you have heard of this case, you knew of the victim or either of our killers, definitely let me know. And so with that being said, I'm gonna give us public note down below. As far as I'm aware, this case is still awaiting trial because I've done the research a couple months back, but of course if there's been an update, they've been sentenced since then. I'll definitely edit that part in the end. So that being said, I'm gonna rambling and let's get started. So we're actually gonna start with Jared. Jared Bridegan was born on June 28th, 1988. In 2010, he wound up marrying a woman by the name of Shanna Gardner, who said had been born sometime in like 1987. Her parents had apparently had a company by the name of Stamping Up, which made about $100 million a year. Like $100 million a year, like revenue. So, they was making good money. And then apparently, even though they were adults, her and Jared were getting $8,500 allowances monthly from said parents. And if that wasn't generous enough, apparently they also even bought them a house. And they also gave Jared apparently $100,000 to go start his own company, which apparently I guess he was interested in doing. And so then they wound up having twins together, a boy named Liam and a daughter named Ashley. Liam apparently was born with a birth defect and was told he had to live near the sea due to said birth defect. So they wound up moving up to Connecticut, and then Shanna's parents apparently paid for that house as well. So a little twist to the story. Apparently Jared would actually buy Shanna CrossFit lessons. I couldn't exactly see if she wanted them or he was just trying to help out or whatever. But he basically gets her lessons. She basically wants to have an affair with the instructor. He finds out through the emails that they are sending to each other. He, of course, would tell people that he knew that she was being controlling, and she told people that she knew that he was being abusive. So, and then apparently, of course, as you can imagine, they wind up. She apparently she would have a baby monitor under her Liam's bed to basically catch any interactions. I guess to use as evidence for later, I guess. But of course, they wind up eventually divorcing. Shanna is actually the one who filed for divorce, but apparently the day after she files for divorce, she goes to a tattoo shop and has the instructor who she had an affair with, she puts him down as the emergency contact and asks the people at the tattoo shop, do y'all know anybody who could permanently shut my husband up? So in 2017, Jared actually gets remarried to a woman by the name of Kristen. They have a daughter together by the name of Bixley in 2020 and another child who is unnamed in 2021. And then in 2018, Shanna she gets remarried not to the instructor she had an affair with, but apparently a maintenance worker at that same gym. And then after that, apparently she proceeds to start a business called Beach Bank 904. So on fateful day of February 16, 2022, obviously Jared and Shanna, they're split, but they have 2 kids together. So they're doing a little split custody thing. Jared apparently has his kid in the car, and apparently while he is driving, he comes across a tire in the road. So he stops, put the hazard lights on, tries to get the tire out of the road so that way he nor anybody else would get hurt by this tire. And then apparently, as you can imagine, this is obviously a setup, and then he apparently gets shot multiple times. So then Shanna, apparently, it doesn't say how soon after the murder, but pretty soon after the murder, apparently she asked for the Christian, because she's the current wife, she asked her for the death certificate of Jared. For what reason, I would like to assume life insurance, but I couldn't confirm that. Of course, police, they're looking at nearby surveillance footage, and they see that this was pretty much meant for Jared to come across, because apparently Jared would take the same route when it comes to dropping the kids off and come getting the kids. And whoever did this apparently had to have known that. At some point, the FBI and apparently ATF apparently come in, and they're involved. $55,000 was provided as a reward for anybody who had information that could lead to an arrest. They were able to identify a black F-150 in the video, but they could only narrow it down between the years 2004 to 2008. So then, of course, the funeral happens. Shanna nor her kids that she had with Jared go, and apparently she even goes on vacation with her husband and her kids a whole month after the murder. So in another little twist, I guess, Shanna and Mario actually split, so that she winds up moving to Washington State, the state of Washington. And then in August 2022, police wind up picking up a man named Henry for some unrelated shit. They find out that Henry actually knew Mario and that he had 3 checks from Mario in his house. So in January 2023, Henry is charged with second-degree murder, accessory after the fact, felony child abuse, and conspiracy to commit murder. And apparently the felony child abuse charge, in case you're wondering, was because the kids there was a child in the car that could have got injured, but luckily wasn't, and so just could have ended bad, and the child could have wound up dead too. So yeah, that's where that charge comes from. So then 10 months later, Henry apparently pleads guilty, and he decides to tell of Shanna's role in the murder. I guess that's like a plea deal for him, because I couldn't see if he's gotten sentenced yet. Mario apparently gets arrested in Orlando, Florida. He is charged with first-degree murder, solicitation to commit murder, solicitation to commit a felony, and felony child abuse. So Shanna doesn't even get arrested until August, and she's actually charged with the same thing that Mario gets. And then Henry, like I said earlier, I guess he was telling of the other people's roles to get a life sentence. He actually gets 15 years. And as far as from what I've seen, Shanna and Mario, who obviously played the bigger roles in Jared's murder, they have not been sentenced yet at the time that I'm recording this. Like I said, I guess that is the Microsoft murder, because Jared was basically like a Microsoft exec, which I feel like I should have mentioned in the beginning of this video. And so that being said, if you knew of Jared, Shanna, Mario, the CrossFit instructor that apparently Shanna had a little affair with, Henry, any of them, definitely let me know down below. If y'all have any other cases that y'all feel I should cover similar to this, definitely know. And so that being said, I cover family meals 2 times a week. This is Gardner for Family Meals. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.